Okay, well, a lot of you thought that I was the one trespassing the last little video that I made, but this is my property. I was just being sarcastic about everybody else that says they can't see the signs when they trespass. This is my road. And yes, I do shut the gate when I leave. So I'll just give you guys a little tour of what is behind that gate down the road. That's old reliable. That's how we get in here when Mother Nature tries to shut us down. This road turns to shit. It don't look bad at all right now, but it turns to shit pretty quick. Hard rain. Oh, got a tree down right there. Son of a bitch. This is another reason I usually take the old Toyota down in here. Okay, hold that thought. Alright, back in action. Must have got windy out here the other day. Oh. That's where all the shit is. Oh, I need to sell that pile of shit right there. I shouldn't say pile of shit. It's not a bad Jeep. It's just not a Toyota. We'll see if this old girl will fire up. Take you on a little tour. Well, the first spot's what I like to call the party field. We kind of do some riding around and beating up on vehicles and shit, and have some big bonfires and stuff like that. It normally looks a whole lot better than this, but I broke my leg at the end of July there last year, and never got to mow this down in the fall. So it's gonna be fun here in a couple weeks. Actually, not even a couple weeks. Like now, need to mow. Give you a better idea what this hall looks like. Right over there is the barn where we just were. Road down in here starts up there somewhere, right in there. Comes down the hill, and then pretty much hillside to hillside all the way down the holler. This here is what I call the laydown yard. This is just kind of where all the junk comes when it's in between a spot or haven't found a place for it yet. We load logs here and unload junk vehicles before they either go to the crusher or go back to the racetrack. All that good stuff. This is about as far as we can make it right now with a car hauler still, believe it or not, down that road. But we'll get to the back 40 eventually. We'll go back there now. Yep, here's the back side. This field's in the same shape as the other one. It did not get mowed in the fall before deer season, so that little field over there, I'm not real sure what I'm going to do with, but I think there's going to be a barn, and probably start with this back field made up to the neighbor's new fence and get us some cows back here. Keep it eating down and all that good stuff, and then that whole hillside right there needs tamed and trails put in, and it is a jungle right now, and it goes up there a pretty good ways, clear to the road. So there's my knoll over there where I hunt. Up there. Yeah. Back 40. This hill here doesn't look all that big, sitting here at the bottom of it by the creek. But once you get about halfway up and then look up at how far you have left to go and how far you've come when you look down, it's a pretty good sized hill. Obviously it's covered in brush right now, but this open section right here, it's got some trees in it, but this is where I think eventually we're going to doze a couple pass through and then start taking buggies and Jeeps and Toyotas and vehicles and whatever we can to beat the brush down and make some trails clear to the top. It goes clear to the road where the entrance is, so I mean we got some distance to work with for a good hill climb, get a good run for it and shit. All in good time. Up here is that knoll I pointed at earlier. This is where I hunt. us out back. I love this little section of woods over there. Really fun to play in, ride around on. Nothing huge, but definitely fun. This old right-of-way right here, it'll fool you. If you haven't come up it, going down it, it honestly doesn't look that bad, especially on camera, but she's pretty steep. Right down there is the party field I was talking about earlier that needs mowed up, and top side of it and all that stuff. Yeah, this is up on my knoll where I do my hunting and all that good stuff. Everybody else is either on that hill or over on that big section I pointed at earlier. There's still a lot more I could show you and a lot more places we could go, but it's like I said, it's a fight every year in the spring to grab everything that happens in the wintertime, all the trees down and everything else. As you saw on the way in, it's a never-ending process. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Sure is a lot of fun. At least it is for me. This is what I've always wanted to do. Just have my own place to run wild and invite all my friends, have fun. Nobody can tell us to be quiet or shut up. Don't do that, don't do this, don't tear that up. It'll grow back. Ain't gonna tear up nothing out here. It'll be just fine. And right here where I keep this Toyota parked is actually the beginning of my driveway for the current house spot we're about to be working on. Stay tuned, there'll be a dozer show up here real soon and we'll get to tearing some shit up. This is the future driveway for now, and the house spot, so I can go out around that hillside with a dozer and all that good stuff. Cut this spot down, I don't know, a good couple feet and widen it out and take all these trees out. Make it a good first home spot. I really don't want to go crazy for the first time. I'm still young and I really don't even know where I want to build my final house out here, so this little spot right here will get us by for a good while. Clean all this up for a good sized front yard, fenced in for the dogs and all that good stuff. Easy to get power and water here. Should do fine. Once I'm here, it will speed things up tremendously. Because living a half hour from this place doesn't seem like it's that far until you have to drive it all the time. Especially when stuff happens, you got to turn around and come back, and it's crazy. So yeah, here's the house spot for now. It's about to look a whole lot different here in the next couple weeks. Get weather like this and it's good and dry, and I'll start moving some dirt, and pretty soon I'll be posting videos from my front porch on this spot right here. If you follow along, you'll pretty much see the whole process. If any of you are trying to do the same thing on your own piece of property, I'm sure I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring this out as I go, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of problems for us to work through. You might be having the same problems if you're doing the same thing, so stay tuned and we'll see what we can make happen. And if by chance any of you are watching this in West Virginia, close to the eastern central West Virginia, and want a Jeep, this thing is for sale. It's not in bad shape. Needs some work for sure. It's been sitting around and I haven't had time to mess with it, but it's an 87 Wrangler 4.25 speed, carbureted. Needs a little bit of rust repair, stuff like that, nothing crazy. Carburetor needs cleaned. Like I said, she's been sitting around for a while. I just haven't had the time to mess with it. Kind of lost interest in it. I like my Toyotas more, to be honest with you. So, if anybody wants a Jeep, I'd probably sell it pretty cheap. Let me know.